Traffic Jam is on now.
Hey, how you doing? This is Kenny Williams with the Traffic Jam, and I'm here with the legendary WNBA Kym Hampton, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in. How you doing?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. Hey.
Wow, New York. So you from, you represented my hometown, New York Liberty. Tell me, how did that journey? And are you from New York? Where you originally from?
I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky,
Hmm.
and I went to Arizona State University to college. And when I graduated from college, there was no professional basketball in America for women. So I ended up going to play abroad for 12 and a half years. I played 6 years in Spain. Y si yo hablo español también, so yo puedo
Yeah.
hablar con vosotros en español si queréis. I ended up playing 4 anni e mezzo in Italia. And I playing here in France. So bonjour, comment allez-vous? And 1 year in Japan. So konnichiwa, ohayou gozaimasu, and stuff. So, it was really cool having that opportunity to just travel the world, just to experience various cultures. And then they started the WNBA. So they ended up sending a scout, so to speak, to Europe to see all of the players that had graduated prior, to start this whole WNBA league. And so I found out myself and my teammate, which is Michelle Edwards. She's like an assistant coach at Rutgers right now. She and I were both going to be selected in the elite draft. And that was the draft with Lisa Leslie, Teresa Weatherspoon. It was the players. That was the elite draft. And then they had the regular draft. So
Okay.
it was pretty cool, just to know that I had been playing for so long, and that finally, we were going to have basketball in America, and then that I would be drafted, at that level. So it was really awesome. So that's how I ended up in New York, because they drafted me in the number 4 pick of the draft, because they had the number 4 pick, and they drafted me to play in New York. So
You was at the very beginning of WNBA. Like, so what is
ball. Me and Lisa Leslie jumped the very first ball, the very first WNBA game. I scored the very first 2 points of New York Liberty history. Like I was pioneer.
wow. So you're just pioneer as far as like with women and just sports in general. So what is and this is the one thing, and I know when a lot of people are not fans of Stephen A. Smith, but he brings up this point. But as far as the viewership and WNBA and what is it, why isn't that the WNBA doesn't get the same recognition? And I know it's a new brand compared to this is a very old brand as far as NBA. But even now, with all this first like with women, why it doesn't get that same recognition?
Well, first of all, the NBA is over 90 years in existence by now, I think. It had its hard times too. It wasn't until maybe like the late 80s that they really started making money, that they blew up, and in the 90s to a global level. So that's
Okay.
almost 60 or 70 years into the game. We're at 25 now, maybe,
Hmm.
for the WNBA. And so, everything has its stages of growing. So it's just a process that it's going to take time. And when teams play below the rim, like the women's game, it's a more team, or it's two different beasts. Like the
Yeah.
NBA, they try to find the next Michael Jordan. They try to find a single superstar. Whereas with the women's game, it's more of a team sport, because everyone plays below the rim. Yes, there are women that can dunk, and things like that. But because not everyone is dunking, the team defense is so much better that it's not like most women aren't just strong enough just to come down the lane, cross you, and then just dunk on you.
Oh, okay.
Wide,
Okay.
it has to be wide open. So the game is different. So then therefore it makes the audience base different. So when you have all the spectacularism, you have all the big names, because the NBA is huge, it's globally huge. When you have all of that, and then you have the WNBA players that are good, great players that are solid and that are sound, but it's just not that spectacular. It just hasn't gotten there yet.
Hmm.
Believe, I've seen just from when we started the WNBA, to where the players have gotten and the things that the players are doing now, it has definitely grown. But 25 years in, 25
Yeah.
years in the NBA, they weren't making any money. They weren't recognized. They weren't anything. Like I said, it took them 70 years before they really started doing anything.
Became it.
Process. Yeah.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So so you did the NBA, and how long did you play with the WNBA?
3 seasons, because I was, at the time I was 35, going on 36, and stuff. And so like I started having like knee pain in my right knee. And so I had to retire because I had to 3 days into like a training camp. I was trying to play for 4 seasons, but 3 days into a training camp, my knee just swelled up and I had to have an exploratory surgery just to see what was going on. And they found out ultimately that the cartilage behind my kneecap was severely worn. And so, the doctor was saying, hey, I can have you back and ready in 6 weeks, but because the season, it's like an 8-month season, the WNBA thrown into like 4 months, but playing back to backs, you're playing at least 3 games, 3-4 games a week, you're up in the air traveling. And so your knee just won't have enough recuperation time. So the doctor was like, oh, you're like 38, you're gonna be 39, like how much longer do you want to play? What about quality of life, and things like that. So that's, why I retired, what happened.
So here you are at a very young age, as far as you're facing retirement. What do you do from there? Where did life take you from after retirement?
Yeah, well, the craziest thing is, I always had all of these visions. My first love was probably singing. Well, it was singing, but no, probably. And then I always envisioned wanting to model, and I always envisioned all of these things, but I was always super shy too. And so I haven't, having that platform of the WNBA gave me a lot of the opportunities to do a lot of those things. Like I signed with Click Models first, and then I signed with Wilhelmina, and I got a major deal with Lane Bryant, one of the original Lane Bryant V girls, when they launched their V line. And 3 hours of work, $40,000, and that was just my cut of it. It was more than that, but the agency gets, and just having an opportunity to do a ton of things like sing backgrounds on the Country Music Awards at Madison Square Garden, and and meet so many celebrities and people. And so all of these things started happening. And still I was there are certain things that like I always loved speaking to kids and motivating kids. And because I knew what I felt like when I was growing up, I was always shy. I was always taller than everyone. I was always, and I just, kids need to hear, this is just a growing stage. You're going to get through that, and if you have talent in some area, or you really, really like some area, just work with it, go with it, and just try to perfect your skill. And so that really feels good to me too. So I feel like I've always been a psychologist all of my life, because all of my friends, I'm always giving advice, and things like that. So all of these things kind of evolved. I know that those are the things that were special to me. And so I've been blessed and fortunate enough to do those things. But again, with life, again, those are service skills. So I ran into the whole issue of everything that I do. It's with people. So when COVID hit, and everything, like it shut down going to be, singing, my singing gigs, it shut down going out doing speaking engagements, to schools, universities, to people, organizations. I had to go to Zoom and, learn to do, I started taking a class so you could learn to do, motivational speaking through Zoom, getting the correct lighting and, and all of this. But, still, it's always a process, because, life changes every single day. And, it is about finding who you are. I was just talking to my friends here. You have to kind of just, I guess, reinvent yourself and, and try to stay true to who you are. So it has been rough for me, like stepping outside, especially when you've done something to where you're on a level. And I think that's always the hardest part for celebrities. If you were a singer, your song was #1, and then you go to, out of the game, you're not making that type of money. You go from an A-lister to now you kind of feel like, okay, well, wow, what am I doing now? I think that's always a tough, you can't get caught up. What I've learned is you can't get caught up in your titles, because titles aren't who you are. You were a person you know, prior to becoming a singer or a pro athlete or whatever, And so I think it's dangerous territory when you base your self-worth and your value on your titles. So that's a big lesson that I've had to learn because I still have all of my skill set, except for, playing the basketball part. But so it's just learning how to monetize all of that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's crazy.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
And this is, I think this is the crazy thing, and even with your platform, like we all had to deal with this COVID 2020 week. It's like, but for some people, it was just downtime to really focus on with you, and then it all come back to what area of the country you were. Like, I'm here in New York, and it was totally different. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Well,
still.
we couldn't go nowhere, couldn't do nothing. And then
Uh,
people in Texas walking around like, what COVID? Like people like,
are you in Texas? You in Texas now?
no, I'm in North Carolina. They yeah.
Yeah, but so in the South, it's just a little bit different from here up in the North and everything like that. But it's like building it. So what do you say to a young lady coming up and finding her way? What do you say? Like, because you said you work with a lot of kids. What are your speeches like speaking to young ladies?
I think it is um it's about why did I just go blank? Uh Self-actualization, human potential, just talking about controlling your controllables, just like focusing on who you are, the skill set that you have, and just improving those skill set, that skill set, making yourself do something. And I believe that it is important to look and to find what you love to do. There's so many people that are working, just jobs that they hate, but they pay the bills. I believe that you can find work that you do love that's meaningful to you because it is so funny. Like I was just telling my friend, the difference between the lifestyle of Europeans and Americans live to work, but
Mhm.
Europeans work to live. They take a whole month. Everybody takes a whole month of vacation in September
Wow.
usually. They take a long lunch breaks, and things like that. In Spain it's called the siesta. So, things close down, maybe at 1 o'clock and they might open back up at 4, so you could go home and have lunch if you so choose, and things like that. They really enjoy life. And, that's important to me, like finding something that you enjoy doing. But I would just say you really have to turn more inside because we always look for the outside stuff to fulfill us. We look for, do we try to find relationships, to be with people, to love us enough to love? No, nobody can love you enough to make you feel secure. That has to come within yourself. Like nobody's gonna make you feel what you feel. No one is gonna come and save your ship. You have to be your own savior.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So what it's a rarity that there's some people that don't even leave their block, right? They don't leave their area. They haven't left their city. You have been to Spain and been to, like, have you ever thought of like relocating? Like, I'm going to Europe instead of here. And I've always asked that, like, with people that travel. Like, I've been to Germany, England, and stuff like that. Like, would you live in abroad?
I don't know if I would live abroad. I mean, I could, it's it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it, but still it wasn't home to me. And
Hmm.
and I had, it was still like, what it was? I didn't see very many people that looked like me. And so for
Okay.
me, that was huge, just and the only people that looked like me were people from Africa, which is cool. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that to say that we had nothing in common, So if I wanted to have a black friend, like they were just as foreign as I was, And so yeah, so I just, I don't know. I love it. I could travel. I could visit there, and this and that, but I live there. Nah. When my season ended at the end of 7, 8, or 9 months, I was ready to go. Ready to go. And my damn phone bill was like, I averaged between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, just talking to family and friends and people,
Yeah, because that was way before like the
the internet and all that Skyping and stuff. Shoot, I said I invested in that daggone phone company over there.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
So let me ask you this, and is because you come from the physical and you got to be in this there's like, because a lot of people I got caught up in this quarantine weight, trying to get this weight off and get into this. Have you got into that mindset of like, are you still in like, because you're an athlete, it just in your mind to, as far as like working out and staying, like, what do you say to people like how do you get rid of this quarantine? How
do you get rid of that COVID-19, that 19 pounds that everybody gained?
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Weight loss. So I'm going to give you a few tips to help you with weight loss. The number one tip I'm going to give you is consistency. Consistency is what is key. Figuring out a way for you to stay active that you can stay committed to. So whether that is dancing, playing with your kids, walking around the neighborhood, weight training, boxing, whatever is going to motivate you to get moving is going to help you to start burning some extra calories towards helping you lose weight. Second thing is paying attention to your nutrition. We've talked about diet previously, how important it is. So just making small lifestyle changes can really help you with your weight loss. I would suggest making a small goal every week that you can accomplish. Something as easy as, I'm gonna have more water each day, or I'm gonna start having a couple vegetables with every lunch meal that I have. Little changes like this will help you to stick with it, to not get discouraged, and to make progress a little bit at a time. Thirdly, when it comes to weight loss, I would recommend having an accountability buddy. If you have someone to help keep you motivated, to help remind you of your why, what your reason is behind wanting to lose weight, you're going to be much more set up for success and to actually reach your weight loss goal. And as a little bonus tip as well, really try to figure out the reason why you want to lose weight. Is it just because you like the compliments? Is it because you're trying to conform to your idea of what society thinks the weight you should be? Is it something you saw on social media? Or is there a deeper reason? Do you want to be able to run around with your kids with ease? Do you want to be able to not feel self-conscious on your family vacation? What is the reason why? Do you have a specific medical issue that your doctor has told you losing weight will help you to avoid being on medication? Really connecting to those deeper meanings of why you want to lose weight will help you to achieve your goal and keep the weight off.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Got that COVID-19 for real. No, I just think it's, you know what? I don't think of that. I just think that it's time. Like, I don't know if you've paid attention, but if you're conscious, you can see that people are evolving, people are changing. Like it's time to improve as people. It's time to be more conscious of not just self, but of the world and just how you do things. It's time to really start trying to improve yourself as an individual to be better. That means like, and this is what I said, like in one of my talks and one of my speaking engagements I had, I was telling people, I said, we've really gone, the 2020 has been a lot. I said, if we want to talk about it, I said, just, 2 short months into the new year, I said, as we counted in the new year, we were all excited about what this new year was going to bring. As with every new year, we all thinking positive, and it's like, yes, and 2020 wasn't just any year. We were starting a new decade, it just had a special ring to it. But just 2 short months into the new year, everything, our whole lives changed. And it wasn't just in America, it was globally. The whole world was shut down because of COVID-19, financially, physically, just everything. And then I said, and then to top it off, and then I said, then you add to in America, I said, so we were faced with that major crisis. And then all of a sudden we were faced with another civil unrest,
Yes.
all the murders, right in our faces, and things like that. I said, then you throw in the crazy weather, all of the storms that are causing power outages for hundreds of thousands of people, all the hurricanes. Now we got hurricanes coming in as couples with Marco and Laura. And then they got the babies offline, and you just see them just lined up, ready to roll through. Families trying to roll through, And I'm just like, and all of that. And I said, but if truly Black lives matter, then us as Black people, we have to do better. We have to be better. That means we need to eat better. We need to stop, we need to slow down the self-medication so that we can really figure out and see what we need to fix in our life instead of numbing everything. We need to treat each other better. All this Black on Black crime and people killing the rappers, and all of that. Like, we need to be better. Women need to be better to our men. Men need to be better to the women. We need to be better with our children. We need to invest in them more and pour into them. Kids, if you're in school, don't just go to school just because you have to go to school. Go to school. You might as well ball out and get grades. I try to tell my daughter all the time, the better grades that you get, the better athlete you are, you get to pick and choose what you want to do in life. If not, then you are left with the scraps and they dictate and tell you what you do in life. I was like, when has average been good? Average ain't never been. If you the baller, and everybody's like, yo, that's, Ariel, like, yo, that's what's fun. And so we just have to do better, so that's, I got off on a tangent.
I know.
Blame it on, blame it on.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Traffic Jam with Kym Hampton, ladies and gentlemen, from the New York Liberty, man, that started it all off for the women of the WNBA. Hey, thank you for your time. I could say the New York Liberty, but you're more than that. You're a motivational speaker. You're giving back as far as like you're singing and everything like that. So God bless you and thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep motivating and making change.
This is the Traffic Jam.